The forest that never lets you leave. The last road into Black Hollow. If you're driving through northern Montana and your GPS suddenly goes black, don't stop the car. That warning had circulated among locals for decades. Most people dismissed it as nothing more than a campfire legend. Yet every year, people vanished within the same stretch of forest. Vehicles were recovered. Backpacks were recovered. Sometimes even cameras. The people themselves were never seen again. Official reports attributed the disappearances to severe weather, wildlife, or hikers who had become lost. The locals knew otherwise. They called it Black Hollow Forest, a place where the trees seemed to watch. And once the forest learned your name, it never forgot it. In the fall of 2024, 5 friends from Seattle set out to produce a documentary about some of America's most enigmatic forests. They were not ghost hunters. They were not thrill seekers. They simply believed that every legend had a rational explanation. The group consisted of Ethan Brooks, a 29-year-old filmmaker who had built a modest following by documenting forgotten places across the country. Sarah Collins served as the team's photographer. Calm, intelligent, and skeptical, she believed that every unusual event could be explained through science. Marcus Hill managed the drones and camera equipment. He never took those stories seriously and spent most of his time making jokes. Emily Carter was a wildlife biologist who had spent years studying remote forests. She believed nature could account for nearly everything. Finally, there was Daniel Ross. Unlike the others, Daniel had grown up in Montana. When Ethan first mentioned Black Hollow Forest, Daniel's smile faded. "You do not want to go there," he said quietly. Ethan laughed. "Why not? My grandfather disappeared there." Silence settled over the room. Daniel continued. "They found his truck, but never him." No one responded. After a long pause, Ethan placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "We'll stay together. We'll document everything. We'll prove there is nothing supernatural." Daniel remained unconvinced, but he agreed to go. Sometimes curiosity is stronger than fear. 3 days later, they were driving north along endless mountain highways. Golden autumn leaves covered the hills. Towering pine forests stretched for miles. Clouds hung low over the mountains. The farther north they traveled, the fewer cars they saw. Eventually, they reached a small roadside town called Ash Creek. Population 183. The gas station appeared abandoned. The diner had only 2 customers. An old wooden church overlooked the empty street. Everything felt still, as though time itself had slowed. Inside the diner, the group ordered coffee before continuing their journey. The elderly waitress noticed their cameras. "You folks making a movie?" Ethan smiled. "A documentary. About Black Hollow." About Black Hollow. The woman's face went pale. The coffee pot slipped slightly in her hand. "You should not say that name." Marcus laughed. "It is just a forest." "No." She lowered her voice. "It is hungry." No one spoke. The woman leaned closer. "If the forest starts whispering, do not answer. If you hear someone calling your name, do not look. And if the trees go silent, run." She walked away before anyone could ask another question. Marcus forced a laugh. "Best tourist promotion I have ever heard." But Daniel was not laughing. Neither was Sarah. An hour later, the paved road ended. A weathered wooden sign stood beside the dirt trail. Black Hollow Forest. Enter at your own risk. Someone had scratched another message beneath it. Turn back while you still can. Marcus aimed his camera. Perfect opening shot. Emily looked toward the tree. "I do not hear any birds." Everyone stopped. She was right. Thousands of trees surrounded them. Yet the forest was completely silent. No wind, no insects, nothing. It felt as though the entire forest was holding its breath. They parked the SUV and unloaded the equipment. 3 cameras, 2 drones, camping gear, food for 5 days, extra batteries, satellite phone. Everything had been planned carefully. Ethan began recording. Day 1. We are entering Black Hollow Forest. Our objective is straightforward. We will spend 5 nights inside and document every unexplained event. Marcus smiled into the camera. And hopefully avoid being eaten by Bigfoot. Everyone laughed, except Daniel. The deeper they walked, the more unsettling the forest became. The pine trees grew taller, thicker, older. Sunlight barely reached the ground. Every direction looked exactly the same. Emily stopped abruptly. Something is wrong. What is it? My compass. The needle spun erratically. Sarah checked hers. It was doing the same. Marcus pulled out his phone. No signal. Ethan checked the GPS. The screen froze, then went completely black. A cold wind moved through the trees. The first wind they had felt all day. Then, a whisper, so faint it almost sounded like leaves shifting. Ethan turned around. Did someone say something? Everyone stared at him. No! Silence returned. Then the whisper came again. Longer this time. It sounded almost like words. Daniel's face lost all color. It has started. They reached an old campsite before sunset. Rusted cookware lay scattered across the ground. A torn backpack rested against a fallen tree. The fire pit was filled with rainwater. Everything appeared decades old. Emily knelt beside the backpack. There should be bones. What? If someone disappeared here years ago, there should be remains. There were none. Not a single one. As if whoever had camped there had simply vanished. Night arrived quickly. Too quickly. By 6:30 p.m. The forest had become nearly pitch black. The campfire crackled softly. No one spoke much. The silence between the trees felt unnatural. Marcus finally broke it. So, has anyone seen a ghost yet? No one laughed. Then, a voice echoed through the darkness. Ethan! It was faint, almost carried by the wind. Ethan looked toward the trees. Did you hear that? Sarah nodded slowly. It sounded like someone calling your name. Again. Ethan. This time it came from deeper within the forest. Daniel stood immediately. Do not answer. The voice came again. Closer. Ethan. Then another voice. Sarah. Then another. Marcus. One by one. Something within Black Hollow Forest called each of their names. Exactly in the voices of the people they loved most. Ethan heard his mother. Sarah heard her younger sister. Marcus heard his father. Emily heard her husband. Daniel heard his grandfather. The man who had disappeared 23 years earlier from somewhere beyond the trees. His grandfather whispered only 4 words. Help me find home. Daniel took one slow step toward the darkness. Then another. The other seized his arm just as a tall, shadow-like figure silently emerged between the trees, watching them, without moving, without making a sound. And then, it smiled. To be continued. Please subscribe to the channel and share.